If you wanted a battle-tested way to follow Christ in a hostile world, meet St. Louis de Montfort, a priest who walked village to village with nothing but a crucifix, a rosary, and a motto carved into his soul: God alone. Born in 1673 and gone by 1716, only 43 years old, yet his fire still forges the warriors of today. France in his day were spiritually numb, moral confusion, shallow faith, families in ruins. Montfort looked at the chaos and he didn't run. He went on foot across Western France, preaching parish missions that called people back to Christ with clarity, courage, and concrete practices. Hard times require hard men, or in other words, badass saints. As a young priest, he faced a choice: foreign missions or France. So what did he do? He walked all the way to Rome on foot to ask Pope Clement XI what God wanted. Pope sent him back to France, gave him the title of missionary apostolate, commissioning him to renew the faith at home. Orders received. Marching papers in hand, his missions were simple, tactical, and lethal. Preach Christ crucified, no fluff, the bloody God King himself, humiliated for our sin. Lead people to renew their baptismal vows and a public declaration of allegiance to God. Train them to pray their rosary daily, disciplined rhythm of prayer. When the work was done, plant a mission cross in the center of town, a reminder to hold the ground that they'd won. At Pontchâteau, he rallied thousands to build a vast outdoor Calvary, a visible proclamation that Christ's cross towers over all. Crux invicta. Days before the blessing, right after finishing it, the King of France ordered it demolished. I would have liked to tell the king that he deserved to have eggs thrown at him for that. You know, the brick-shaped eggs, you know, the ones that are made out of actual bricks. But Montfort obeyed him. He tore it down and he kept preaching. He would rather lose a monument than lose his mission. That is spiritual detachment with steel. He took real hits too. He was even poisoned. He survived, but he never fully recovered. And still he refused to stop. The enemy hates clarity. Montfort kept walking and he kept preaching. His signature move was total consecration to Jesus through Our Lady, through Mary. Not sentiment, but strategy. If you want to belong entirely to Christ, entrust yourself to the one who belonged to him entirely, Our Lady. He mapped it out in true devotion to Mary in 1712. Astonishingly, it got lost for over a century and it was rediscovered in 1842. When it was finally published, it spread like wildfire. He wrote, "I am all yours, and that all I have is yours, O most loving Jesus through Mary." This was combat training, interior surrender to Christ into exterior practices that reorder life. Prayer, almsgiving, and acts of mercy, the trifecta. That's how a heart becomes a base of operation. At Poitiers, a city in France, he designed what he called the Wisdom Cross, carved with a command such as deny yourself, carry your cross. If you are ashamed of the cross of Jesus Christ, he will be ashamed of you. Love the cross, desire crosses. This isn't masochism. It is elite discipleship, sharing in Christ the King's courage. He built it for the long game. The Order of the Company of Mary would carry the parish missions. The Daughters of Wisdom, who he founded with Marie Louise, would teach and nurse the poor. Later, the Brothers of St. Gabriel would continue the educational mission. His books are a field manual for any modern Catholic who wants to fight the good fight and win. True devotion to Mary, a consecration as a total strategy. The secret of the rosary, how a humble prayer becomes a hammer. Love of eternal wisdom, Christ at the blazing center of everything. And Letter to the Friends of the Cross, a straight talk addressed to those who refuse to retreat. If you wondered whether Montfort's path still works, just listen to St. John Paul II. He said Montfort's teaching shaped his life and gave him his motto, totus tuus, totally yours. That phrase, born of Montfort spirituality, became a watchword for an entire generation. Exhausted by mission and illness, Montfort died in 1716 while preaching. 16 years a priest, 43 years old. Pilgrims still come to his tomb. John Paul II knelt there in 1996 because that fire still lights torches. Here's a 5-move rule of the life drawn from him. Number 1 is allegiance. Renew your baptismal promises aloud. Reject Satan, proclaim the Trinity, and plant your flag, the cross, in the ground. Consecration is number 2. Begin the 33-day path to total consecration to Jesus through Mary. Number 3 is weapons discipline. Pray the rosary daily, not as jewelry, but as a battle hymn. Number 4, concrete Mary. Choose one act of service each week. Love must incarnate. Number 5, carry a cross. Adopt a small, steady penance. The point is obedience, not heroics. Love the cross, desire crosses, look for where you can die to yourself for him. He was not just about Mary alone. His devotion was fiercely Christ-centered. Mary's role is to form Christ within us, just as she formed Christ within her. He was truly named the Missionary Apostolic by Clement XI in 1706. The Calvary story is no legend. It was demolished by royal order, and he simply kept going. John Paul II himself testified that Montfort's own spirituality formed the heart of his own ministry. St. Louis de Montfort did not wait for perfect condition. He obeyed, he walked, he preached, he served, he suffered, and he won souls. If you want a creed for the trenches, make it this: God alone, to Jesus through Mary. Start small, start today, then don't stop. Pick up your cross, be a man, pray the Rosary.